I'm back, baby. That's right. You missed me.
We are here today with Penguinz0. So Charlie, how's Invincible Season 3?
Invincible Season 3, I think, is extraordinary. I think the writing is probably some of the best in the series so far. At least I personally feel that way. I really like a lot of the characters they brought back.
What do you think of the story?
This season had so many moving parts, and I think all of it was handled exceptionally well. The relationship between Mark and Eve, Debbie now moving on from Omni-Man and getting a new partner that's coming into her life and trying to explore what does that look like, because it's not Omni-Man, this is just a guy. This is like super normal dude man. And now he's coming into this family with two super-powered individuals, the two strongest heroes on the planet, Invincible and Oliver. Omni-Man's other son, Oliver, is now this kid with an extraordinary amount of strength, and he seems to think it's similar to his dad in certain parts when it comes to life and death, and, you know, maybe it's more effective to kill the bad guys. I happen to agree. I think it is more effective if they were killing some of the bad guys, but that is a big prevailing theme throughout the season about teaching Oliver no, killing is not good, but also maybe it kind of is in certain cases with some of these bad guys that keep showing up and fucking our butts, you know what I mean? So it's a really well executed balance of this. Rexplode, he's gone through this crazy, you know, come to Jesus character arc where now he's like a really like charming dude who's turned his whole life around, and now he's got a love interest of his own, and it's that relationship that gets quite a lot of screen time, and all of it is just done really well.
Are the characters still interesting this season?
Typically when you have this many, you know, buns in the oven, this much meatball in the spaghetti, things get a little lost. Not here. It feels like everything got the perfect amount of attention and tender love and care put into it. Because at no point did it feel flat or underdeveloped. But of course it's not just about the characters and their relationships, you know, we're not watching fucking Young and the Restless here. It is a show about superheroes and supervillains, and there's a lot of clashing here. We even get more Alan, we get more Omni-Man, and we actually get some fucking Battle Beast. I become a big Battle Beast guy. Very cool character. And it's a lot of fun, and I think they do a great job.
People are saying the animation sucks in Season 3.
I'm ripping the Band-Aid off. There's a lot of people that are gonna try and scream at you that the animation's actually really good. It's just people that are getting in your ear, feeding you a bunch of fucking phony baloney lies that the animation's bad. It's not. Don't believe them. No, don't believe them that's telling you that. The animation is noticeably worse than Season 1 and 2. There are so many times in this show where a fight is going on, and it's just kind of a still image. It's like a fucking flipbook animation for some of these fights. Not all of them. There are moments in the first 6 episodes where there are good fight sequences that are animated well, but it's not the majority of them. Oh my god, there are some super stinker moments. I don't want to open up any wounds here from people repressing the trauma of some terrible animated fight sequences, but there's one scene where Robot is standing still doing this, and they just have like green blobs that'll come out occasionally. Like he's just dribbling out green projectiles and just not moving like this while fighting. And it's not like he's like a background, like in the background doing that, where, you know, you can get away with someone doing that and it's not a big deal. Like, who's gonna give a fuck? He is literally in the forefront. It is focused on him, and he's just doing this, bing, 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 with some like green projectiles coming out. There are a lot of bad animated moments, and then there's like another really noteworthy one. There is a new villain who's being transported, and he overcomes the holds, and the car that was transporting him gets thrown off the bridge, and then it's like this really almost like Transformers Beast Wars from the late 90s, like CGI truck that's like flipping around a little bit. Like, it looks like a Nintendo 64 cutscene. It's bad. There are a lot of moments where the animation is bad. Just face the facts. It doesn't ruin the season by any means, and it's very clear that the emphasis for animation was put into the last 2 episodes.
You like the ending?
Episodes 7 and 8, they go hard, and it is so much better, to the point where it just makes me feel like, man, why couldn't we just have more of that for the first 6 too? Like, this show is extremely popular. Surely Amazon has enough money in the vault to allocate to big animation. We saw it in Season 1 already. Like, come the fuck on. But anyway, That's the only like glaring issue with the season, is just how weak it is when it comes to its animation. It's a real fucking shame, because it deserves to be, you know, top tier, top notch animation. It is so good. You know a show is good when you start to argue with people about character motivations and like who's right, who's wrong within the context of the show. Like Cecil versus Mark, where there was like a big debate I'd have with chat about like who's right, is Mark right or is Cecil right? Because Cecil does some unethical means to save the world, but Cecil's heart is always, we're saving the world no matter what it takes. And he has a really, what I believe to be, profound line of, we can either be the good guys or the guys that save the world. And I think that's really powerful. He wants to save the world, and he's willing to do some shady shit for it, such as having a very bad guy come back and start doing some questionable experiments to create some countermeasures to extremely powerful threats. And Mark views that as the ultimate irredeemable evil. These people need to be locked up behind bars because they're bad people. And Cecil, when confronted with this, even calls out Mark on the hypocrisy, because Mark is right, like he's had a conversation with Oliver about like how people haven't forgiven their father for what he did on this planet. And like how Mark is starting to come to terms with like he still loves his father and to a certain extent forgives him. But Mark can't extend that same level of forgiveness where he can see like villains turning things around to try and save the world. Like they don't get that chance. Only Mark's dad gets that chance because Mark says so. And Cecil calls him out on the hypocrisy, and I think it's a really strong point. I think Cecil is more in the right than Mark in that regard. And things, of course, change throughout the season as Mark gets more going on and as Cecil gets more going on. But I just think that they do such a strong job in the writing that having these arguments is really enjoyable.
I'm guessing you like this season.
I loved season 3, absolutely glued to it, another banger. I think Invincible is still a must-watch show, and I cannot wait for more.